Get ready for Sonia, Teresa, Vanessa, Bettina. Come on. Say what? Come on. Say what? We got bam, hot topics. We got what the fudge. So bring it on. Say what? Bring it on. Say what? We got questions. We got the answers. You wanna chit? You wanna chat? You wanna talk about this and talk about that? You're in the right place to hear the facts. Bring it on. Say what? Bring it on. Say what? The ladies are bringing the conversation. So join us or say what across the nation. Bring it on, y'all. Say what? Come on. Say what? Bring it on. Say what? Come on. Say what? Bring it on. Say what? Come on. Say what? Bring it on, y'all. Say what? Come on. Say what? Bring it on.
Hey. Welcome to the Say What podcast. Can't even do it at trying to get over being sick, but I'm getting ready to say what? Welcome. Come on in to the Say What podcast with my ladies. Say hello, ladies.
Say what?
All right. What? I'm a little nasal, but I'm working with y'all. So say what? Welcome, everybody. We are so happy to have you with us today as we had the conversation that needed to happen today. We are talking about it, and we are glad to have you with us today. So y'all know how this go. We cannot go another further. If y'all notice, the bishop is meeting with Jesus. So therefore, we got Bettina / Junior Bishop today. She gonna bring the word, and she prayed on it. Bettina, what is it that thus saith the Lord?
Well, you know, as the bishop has well trained me, I went into my prayer closet. Hallelujah.
Prayer closet.
Yes. And got prostrate before the Lord.
Before the Lord, LAWD.
Right. You know, some of them can't say prostrate. They're prostrate before the Lord.
Prostrate before the Lord.
Right. So I prayed about it, and I wanted to make sure that it was an appropriate scripture. And so I'm going to do two. I'm going to do Romans chapter, and this is from the New Living Translation, Romans chapter 2, verse 6. And I'm going to do Romans chapter 2, verses 9 and 10. They're very short. And it says, he will judge everyone according to what they have done. That was Romans chapter 2, verse 6. And 9 and 10 says, there will be trouble and calamity for everyone who keeps on doing what is evil, for the Jew first, and also the Gentile. But there will be glory and honor and peace from God for all who do good, for the Jew first, and also for the Gentile. And God's talking about judgment on this. And the reason that I settled on this scripture, because he talks about the Jew and the Gentile, and we're talking about transracial today. And you are who you are. Basically, do what you're supposed to do, because God's going to judge you whether you're a Jew, a Gentile, or you trying to claim transracial or trans, whatever you want to claim. You're going to have to answer for that. Whichever way you decide you want to flow, you're going to have to answer for it. So I wanted to bring that scripture about today, because God created you in his image. Okay. He didn't create you in his image to say, well, guess what? Maybe not. Maybe I should do something different. God said, I created you in my image, and I did you just the way I wanted you to be, and I don't make any mistakes. So explain to me how you are over here race changing. That's what I meditated on. That was the part.
I see why you had to go and lay prostrate.
Lord. Yes, Jesus. Yes.
No, y'all got to say it like the old people. Just lay out before the Lord. Just lay out.
Just lay out on my face.
Lay
on
out
your face before the Lord. So it's interesting, Bettina, because you said, paying attention to how you were born. That then brings the conversation about a whole bunch of things that we tried to be. So is this scripture saying that there is an error with that?
Right. So here's what God is saying. Point blank period. The Bible states all over the place that God created us in his image. Okay. And God doesn't make mistakes. I don't know how else I need to say that.
Period.
I'm not sure who else needs to hear it a second time. God doesn't make mistakes.
Okay. Vanessa, you feeling that? You agree with that?
Enough said. I mean, it's nothing else. I mean, like you said, period. I mean, I can't come behind that and add to it. I mean, period. I mean, he said what he said in 2 and 6. And, you know, God gave us free will. Let's go back there. He did give us free will. He gave us his word. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, he also gave us free will. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's up to us whether or not we're going to follow his word and do what, you know, Romans 2:6 said and abide by it, or, you know, use our free will and make our own rules. So I can't come behind Romans 2:6. So I'm in full agreement with, you know, what's in his word.
Amen.
I would agree. That was a strong word. That had me coughing.
See,
sometimes Jesus will get you choked up. Sometimes you all up. Jesus.
Ain't no other way to put it. I mean, outside of that, you know,
it choked you all
up. But
again,
it's just, I think it's a beautiful scripture because, again, God doesn't make mistakes, but I think we struggle with that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Either from, I mean, not even just changing our lives and being something else, but how our lives go, what happens. Mm-hmm. You know, we look at other people and we compare. Why is it my life not like his or hers?
Right.
You know, which leads to wanting to become something else. So it's great to see, you know, God letting us know that I didn't make a mistake and that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. Amen. So it's great to hear.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Miss Vanessa.
Yes, ma'am.
With that word, we want to know what's going on in the world. And we want to say hi to one of our fans, Katrina. She's already made us say hi. We just want to say hey and say what? Welcome.
Yes.
Hey, Katrina. Yes, ma'am. So y'all want some what y'all want? Y'all want some stuff. Y'all want some news.
Yes, because I know you travel all around the world to get this news, and I know you probably tired, but we need you to give it to us. Okay?
Girl, I'm tired. I done been to Japan, and I done been all over, but I'm
all over the place.
Yeah, trying to give y'all a little bit of something. So the Olympics, you know, the Olympics began yesterday. Opening ceremonies. Did you all catch a glimpse of them?
I missed the opening ceremonies, and I normally
did as well. I did as well. I'm struggling with the no fans. And you know, with the Olympics being as big as they've always been, from Muhammad Ali, you know, lighting the flame and all sorts of stuff. I mean, just amazing. To not seeing fans, I struggle, but I was really happy to see who actually lit the flame. So Vanessa, I'm gonna let you introduce who that was.
Who lit the flames?
Yes,
she said lit the flame. How you like the flames, baby?
So hold on. I'm gonna tell you in a second who lit the flames for the Olympics. But no, they started yesterday, and I was able to catch a glimpse of, you know, the opening ceremonies, and it was pretty subdued. And again, it was different because there were no, like you said, there was nobody in the audience except dignitaries. I think they might have had 1,000 people in a 65,000 seat auditorium. And it was just different. They marched in, they had the, you know, various teams. The U.S. gymnastics team didn't march. They had their own little march at the other hotel where they're staying because they're trying to be COVID safe. But to answer your question, Naomi Osaka lit the torch.
Yeah, I wanted you to say it. I was going to say it, but I let you say it. But what was interesting was they actually went on because down to the wire, they were going to cancel the
they were going to cancel, and I still think
they were having outbreaks everywhere. They were having outbreaks everywhere,
and not just that, but they were also having protests outside,
right?
You know, because they wanted them to cancel. But of course, that didn't take off.
So I'm curious, ladies, what did you think? Do you think because of all the outbreaks and everything that was going on, do you feel like it should have been canceled? What were your thoughts?
I do. I mean, I think it should have been. And then I'm gonna tell you, listen, I'm a little, I got a whole another little situation going. I do think they should have. I do think they should have canceled it. Number one, they got me on an odd year, and I'm all off with that. Okay, I needed them to cancel that and bring that on into 22 because we in 2021. I needed them to swing on into 2022 and keep it even. Okay.
Right.
However, the outbreaks, the outbreak monkey is still running around giving it to people. All right. So, and now you got the Delta.
Giving it to people. Okay.
Giving it to people. Okay. And you got the Delta variant. And so it's a whole lot. And I got a family member that just got a close family member that just came up and was diagnosed on Thursday. So a shout out to my loved one who was diagnosed, who is doing much better now. So I thank God for that.
Well, you mentioned monkey stuff. Have you all seen monkeypox? I know I'm getting off a little bit, but monkeypox is actually a thing now. A friend of mine mentioned it to me, and I thought they were just tripping a little bit. But monkeypox is actually out and about, and it's something now that we have to be aware of as well. And
why does it sound like the heebie-jeebies?
It is. It looks like the heebie-jeebies. If heebie-jeebies had a picture, it would be the monkeypox.
Right. My mama made something up talking about the conjugitis or the cospiralis. That's what it sounds like. I've never heard of that.
No. Take it back to when we was kids. You got cooties.
Cooties.
I'm telling you, the cooties, the heebie-jeebies, whatever you name is out there now. It's got a picture to go along with it. We made up names when we were growing up, but that stuff has come to fruition.
Right. That's exactly right.
I'm serious. It's something in the air. I mean, even here in the Atlanta area, the weather we've had,
it's hot.
It's just got hot. It wasn't hot because it's been raining morning and evening, and you get hot during the day, and then it goes back to showers at night.
I thought I was getting sick. I walked outside and I'm sweating bullets in 5 minutes. And I said, okay, this can't be. This can't be. But it's hot. I had 3 people come behind me and say, it's hot. And if you going to hell, you need to take note of what it feels like out here now. It's hot.
Mark Sellers, who we love immensely, who actually helped us create our theme song for the thing. He called it the Congra Magras.
That's what my mother used to say, got the Congra Magret.
The Congra Magras.
He said the outbreak is real. Yes.
It's real. I'm serious. There's a lot of stuff out here and you got to be careful.
It's crazy. But anywho, thinking about the monkeypox just gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. And Katrina Richards.
She agreed that they should have canceled the Olympics. I agree as well. I don't feel as though that it should have went on. It was too forced.
It was.
They had people getting stuff. And there was a lady who, a young girl, not young, like under 18. I think she's like 19, who was handicapped. She's blind and has some other things. And they would not allow her mother to come because you're only allowed a certain amount of people to come. And she had to back out for that reason because her mother was her help.
Yeah.
Right.
And they only allowed a certain amount of people. So, I mean, with all the stuff that was going on, they should have just canceled it and waited till next year.
Exactly.
But you know what? It's money. The love of money will make you have an Olympics in the middle of a pandemic. It's
That's
all
right.
about the dollar. They stood to lose
But don't they have the money ahead of schedule? I mean, they already get the money to put it on, right?
Right.
They stand to lose billions. So if they didn't do that, they stood to lose billions. So it's like, no, they weren't about to cancel it after spending all that money to prepare, even though they prepared during a pandemic. They weren't about to. And you can look around and see what people do for money. And that's a perfect example. They know
that should have been canceled. I'm sorry.
And speaking of the Tokyo Games and COVID, we've got that new COVID variant that is out there, and the unvaccinated are the ones that are truly being impacted. And it's up to you whether or not you want to be vaccinated. That's your choice, but you should seriously take note as to who's being impacted with this new COVID Delta variant. Now the numbers are going back up. Hospitals are now starting to be full again because of this new COVID variant. And they said 90 to 95% of the patients are the unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something to think about, if you are not or plan to never be vaccinated. You know, you just
and they interviewed somebody recently who was in the hospital recovering from COVID, and they asked him, would you have gotten the shot? And his answer was still no.
Yeah.
So really interesting as to why, you know, you don't want to get it. And then they have a nurse who was also interviewed who said she, right before they intubated somebody or some of her patients, they said, now can I get the vaccine? And she said, I'm sorry, it's too late.
It's too late. I remember that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it's just, you know, it's interesting to watch people think about different things and how they think about it and, you know, what goes on. And even though the last administration started a lot of, you know, conspiracy theories, I'm not going to say it was all of them, but started a lot. There are things that come up under that as well. They may not necessarily believe him, but they believe something else. So I'm curious, ladies, what you think about, you know, what's going on with these conspiracy theories and how it's contributing to people deciding not to take part in the vaccine. What are your thoughts?
Go ahead. You go ahead, Bettina.
Oh, no, I can wait.
I saw where some people were saying, you know, for instance, I think it was Bishop T.D. Jakes he came out on online on social media and letting the parishioners know that they will now have to start back wearing masks in church, you know, because of the new Delta variant. Mm-hmm. And then I was reading some of the posts, and of course they were asking, you know, if you believe in God, why are you wearing masks? And, you know, God's got you, God's your protector, blah, 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 blah. I would bet a penny. No, I wouldn't. I'd probably bet the farm, because I know I'm right, that these same people are going to see their doctors when they get sick. They're taking medicines when they get ill. You know, they even go to the dentist when they, you know, have issues with them. They go to get help with other ailments. But this, you want to say, okay, God is our protector, which he is. But there's a reason, you know, he created doctors. There's a reason we have doctors. So, you know, don't throw that to me on this side and then on this side. But, you know, I can go to the doctor and get my annual or yearly checkup or whatever. But at the same time, I can't wear a mask because God's my protector. And God probably looking at them thinking, my child. I'm not going to call him stupid, because he probably would have another word that I can't think of right now. But, you know, he probably just shake his head saying, my child. That's my thought.
So we have a sense, God gave us a sense of smell, touch, taste, sight, and hearing. And he also gave us common sense. Okay. And here's what I don't like to see. I don't like to see loved ones falling out about this vaccination. People have free will and they have the right to choose whatever their reasons. And, you know, even whether I agree with what the person's reasons are is neither here nor there. My prayer always for them is, if that is your choice, I pray you don't get sick. I pray you don't make others sick. And I certainly pray you don't die. And for sure, the whole idea of, well, God got us, and if you believe in God, why would you wear a mask? Do you know how many good, as the church say, good Christians died,
passed away?
COVID? How many people prayed? How many people were doing their masks the right way, you know, and maybe touched something, or a family member came in and they got infected from a family member who didn't believe or was running around willy-nilly, and they were doing all what they thought was the right stuff. And into their homes came someone who wasn't, right, and didn't believe. So if you don't, I don't have as big a problem with people who don't want to be vaccinated. I don't have a problem with people who don't want to be vaccinated for whatever their reason. My issue is with people who don't want to be vaccinated and still don't want to protect others. Right. So if you don't want to be vaccinated, okay, cool, check, I got you. Then always wear your mask, you know, especially when you're around people, that could possibly be at a higher risk, whether it's your elders or whatever the case may be. Don't come in there bringing the possibility of bringing something to them and make them sick. I'm not going to sit there and be asking everybody around me, excuse me, are you vaccinated? Because actually that's not my business. Mm-hmm. Okay. What I am going to do, but people are having parties and functions in their homes, and they're telling people, and I think it was Gayle King that said she's going to let people know, if you're not vaccinated, I don't want you to come to my function.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And you can't get mad. Right. You can't get mad.
That's her home.
Right. But at the same time, I hear you, Bettina. For me, with family members who are not, My struggle is not putting yourself in a predicament where you get sick. I'm concerned about that. I am very concerned. Okay. And to the point that if we know to do something that will prevent us from being there, I struggle with it. Mm-hmm. And I understand. And I understand that we don't want to do certain things, but at the same time, I don't want to see you hooked up to every type of wire coming out your face, because you're not wearing the thing that would, you're not doing the thing that would prevent that from actually happening. So I battle because I'm caught in between. I don't want to see my loved one go through that. I don't want to see anybody go through that. So it's interesting watching that dynamic go on and the discussions that go on about it, about doing different things, where we all on this podcast come from the era you didn't get into this school unless you had your shot record in your hand, and you were not allowed in that school. And I said it about a month ago, but I'm gonna say it again because I have people that are connected to CDC. I said, your next argument is when school starts. And sure enough, here we come. School is starting and we're having the discussions about what's going to happen. And it's very strange to me coming from an era where you had to show your shot records, which I still have mine, thank you. But to get into the school.
Well, you have to look at too, the unvaccinated are the most at risk. Even the vaccinated, there are breakthrough cases with the vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And people are asking, well, why should I get vaccinated if I could still catch it? The shots are preventing the majority of the people from severe illness and death.
Ending up in the hospital.
It's preventing hospitalization, severe illnesses, and death. So, I'll take that over not being unvaccinated. I know the NFL, they've laid out some rules against, people or the players who refuse to get vaccinated. They sent a memo out to the team on Thursday, and the memo states that if a game is unable to be rescheduled during the 18-week regular season window due to COVID, among unvaccinated players, the team experiencing the outbreak will be forced to forfeit the game. And it says the team also will be responsible for covering lost revenue from that game. And in addition to that, neither team's players would receive their weekly game checks. Now, see,
you're messing with my money.
You're messing with my cheese.
You're messing with my money.
That's going to cost.
Basically, they went every which way except to say that you are forced to have the vaccine. They just went the other route. So you can't legally say they said that you, but if it costs anybody anything.
Can you imagine the locker rooms for people who are unvaccinated, being in there with people who are unvaccinated, and then, some stuff break out. And now I done lost my paycheck because you refused to get shot. So now it's going to cause some strife in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Y'all agree with that from the NFL?
Oh, it's going to cause some strife in the locker room.
It's going to cause some strife across the board because stuff is going to come down to the wire. So Mark, our wonderful listener, is saying, I believe this COVID affects everyone differently. The vaccine could help some, but not all. Masks may help a little, but it's definitely not 100%. I've been through it very recently. And for me, I believe to some extent the mask could be weakening the immune system. I can't prove that, but I just feel that. So I agree with his point. He's been through some stuff and how he sees it. But again, as a whole, to the entire, how things go, it's a different, we're not all scientists on this call or on this podcast. So we don't know. But at the same time, the risk, as I was taught, having worked in insurance for a period of time, if that risk is too high, you got to back up and kind of look at your risk.
Right.
Let's hope we can get a handle on this. And I'm going to move on from that because we could talk about that all day. But I want to hit you with some Dr. Dre news. Los Angeles Superior.
Speaking of doctors.
Say what?
Speaking of doctors, go ahead.
Speaking of doctors, yeah. Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Michael R. Powell has ordered Dr. Dre to pay his estranged wife, Nicole Young, almost $300,000 in spousal support. per month for the foreseeable future, potentially for life.
So here's what I say to Dr. Dre.
My goodness.
This is all I got to say to Dr. Dre. If he had kicked it with me, I would have only done 200,000. It would have, you know what I'm saying? It would have been, I would have, because I like even numbers. So I just would have went with 200,000 and I would have kept that thing off. I'd have been like, I'm good, boo. We don't even have to go through all these changes. Okay.
So she had asked the court last September, she asked the court for 1.9 million monthly in spousal fees. So I guess he got a little discount. Maybe he's saying good. Maybe he's happy with this.
Seems he got quite the discount. He could have. He was still would have made out better with me. I'm just saying. So,
well, all I got to say is poor Miss Chalet. She didn't get no money
at all.
At all.
Y'all so wrong with that. Y'all wrong.
At all.
Y'all so wrong. So moving right along. On a sad note, I just wanted to mention that Keisha Cole's mom, Miss Frankie Lons, passed away from an overdose on her 61st birthday. You know, she had been battling addiction, and I know, Bettina, we talked earlier, and you stated she was just celebrating her 2-month sobriety.
Yeah, in March she celebrated 2 months sobriety, and then she, unfortunately, she fell off.
So we just ask, keep their family in your prayers. I see Alexis says 300 per month.
Miss Audrey said I would settle for 200,000 too. She with it too.
That's right. My cousin Audrey, we down like 4 flat tires. We ain't mad at nobody.
So that's enough news for me today, ladies. I'm done. I'm tired. This is wearing me out. I'm tired.
Well,
if we gave you 200,000 a month, if we gave you 200,000, you find some energy. Trust me.
Right. I find a lot of energy. I might have skipped the show today if I got 200,000.
Right. I might have had to take a day off.
Yeah, I had to hold my finger up and say, "Excuse me, I'm out today."
Listen, if the bishop wasn't married to BB, the barbecue sauce king, I'd be wondering if she got that 200,000 because she done took the day off.
Absolutely. So, Miss Bettina, what's the fudge?
Yes. Things happen and things come to me. And I tell you, sometimes things come to me from one of my favorite comedians, the Shula King. And so this particular one was a presentation that I snatched from him. So I will give him credit. Again, sometimes words get in the way. I know I say it and then my words get in the way because I can't hold my mule, as they used to say in the church. Okay. So if you could please, Miss Vanessa, with the presentation of the what the fudge?
Oh,
see,
I gotta put my glasses.
See.
So here's the thing. As a general rule, I would walk past a situation like this without a word, a thought, but without a word. However, when you present yourself on social media with the goal of being seen, okay, then you open the door, if you will. And me being a teeth fanatic as I am, because teeth are a thing for me. That's one of the first things I notice on people. I have noticed people with built up plaque on their teeth and others have said, huh? I didn't even see that. No, that's the first thing I see. So if there are missing teeth in pertinent places, and then you presenting it with the tongue out, I'm not exactly sure what that part of the presentation is about. I'm just gonna say you can keep that. Thank you, no thank you. And let me just say this: he might got a girlfriend, and I said might got her. I know that was bad English. He might got a girlfriend, and there's some of us around here can't find a man or woman. He might got a girlfriend, and even though I might say, "What the fudge?" Somebody's saying, "What the fudge?" So, ladies, I say unto you, if by chance I can see if I can get his information and send it out in case anybody's interested. As a, I could help present him and help bring him, to the forefront. I can do what I can. I'll see if I can find out the information. Until I do, I'm just gonna say to him, "What the fudge?"
Oh. I'll take my
This is
glasses.
a health hazard. I'm sorry. It's a health
It's a health
hazard.
hazard.
It's a health hazard. Okay. As some old movies I've seen, they call them yuck mouth. Okay, that would be it right there. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
You
Yes.
remember the little song? They call me Yuck Mouth because
Yeah.
it don't brush.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh my.
Mhm.
I have no words. I have nothing.
And I'm
Go-
quite sure he
listen.
doesn't have any either.
Or listen, Gums Almighty, Tongue Everlasting. Come on, y'all.
The fact that this is why social media is dangerous. Okay, this is just why it's dangerous, because you have things like that, and you have a camera in your hand that you are allowed to use, which is now a weapon at this point, because we all have to witness this. Okay,
That's
No.
the perfect caption. What Bettina said.
that
Gums
doesn't-
Almighty, Tongue Everlasting.
That's the perfect caption for that.
Oh my goodness, my God, that was just too much.
It is absolutely my pleasure to bring to you What the Fudge.
Mm,
No.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
I'm speechless.
He should be as well, and he needs to be phoneless. Don't ever give him a phone.
Just imagine
So
having a
anyway.
conversation and you don't have nothing to stop all of the extracurricular juice that builds up in your mouth, and they talking, and then you catching a lot all up and through. Just
Mm-mm.
there's another reason to be social distancing from him. See how I did that?
That's a reason to wear a mask. That's why you wear the mask.
That right there, what you say, Bettina? Social distanced. Okay. And I'm with you, Vanessa. But see, you know what? Now I'm starting to feel like the police. I don't know what you look like till you take that mask off. So it had a mask on online trying to do dating. And then the girl get out there, find out, and be like, oh my goodness, see, no.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
And you know, that's attractive to people. You got your mask on. See, I'm trying to be, social distance. And then you get out on a date with him and he take the mask off. Oh my gosh. Yes.
But wait a minute, I gotta tell y'all this real quick. I met this guy at church. I was leaving church one night and he was in parking lot, like direct. He wasn't really directing traffic, but he needed to get out. So he was moving a cone. I know, Lord. He was moving a cone so he could get out. So I was backing out too. And it was dusk, so it was almost dark. So you really couldn't see the person. And we were talking and whatnot. I met that joker in the daytime. I don't know, a couple of weeks later. We met in the day where you could see. No lie, he had a teeth. See, I can't even speak. I'm talking. He had a tooth here, tooth here, tooth here, tooth. He had spaces in between his teeth so heavy. I'd probably stick 2 fingers in between each space. And I just laughed.
Lisa, Vanessa, all I can say is you don't look at the bright side, because the bright side of that is all the money he could save on dental floss he can use to take you out to dinner. But you didn't want to look at the bright side because you seem to be a little bit vain. So that's no problem. But you go ahead and don't make it to dinner because vain. Okay.
My mama used to tell me, my grandmother used to say, don't nothing good happen at night, baby. You need to see stuff during the day. See, you need to go, nothing good happen. Because remember, you be trying to hang out, nothing good happens at night. See, you shouldn't have been there. Now you saw the next day what happened. See?
My goodness. So seeing that, oh my goodness. Bettina, I was trying to see what kind of clothes he was wearing. Did he take that from jail? What was that picture taken? I was trying to get him.
Words get in the way sometimes. I'm just gonna let that go.
Absolutely. So we're gonna move into our discussion today because we get stuck literally in between his teeth, but we're gonna leave that alone. So Vanessa was the one who brought this topic to us about being transracial. And Vanessa, I want you to elaborate how this came about for you.
Absolutely. So I was watching television one day, and there is this British guy, this young man from Britain, and he had undergone several surgeries. There's this Asian group called BTS. It's a pop band, and one of the guys in the group has blonde hair. It's like a bob kind of blonde hair, and this British kid is so in awe of this group. He absolutely loves this group. He has undergone numerous surgeries to make himself look like the blonde-headed kid in the group BTS. And after doing so, he had his eyes, because they're Asian, so he had his eyes restructured so that they have the slant. He had his skin kind of, I don't know what he's done to his skin, but he kind of has a slight olive tan. He has blonde hair and it's bobbed. I mean, he's had so many surgeries. To me, he still looks nothing like the young man in the group. But he stated that he was very, very pleased with the surgeries and that he feels that he is now able to live the life as a transracial Asian. He feels that that's how he was born. He felt that he's always been Asian, and now having the surgeries and he's satisfied with the look that they have given him, that he feels he can now live this life that he feels he was born as. He felt he's always been Asian all his life, and now he feels that he can truly live as an Asian person. And when I saw that, I'm thinking, can you? Can you wake up one day and actually believe that you can, be a different race and it's okay? I mean, is it okay for me to say, you know what, I feel like I've been a white woman all my life. I'm gonna dye my hair blonde and I don't know what I'm gonna do about my skin, but I'm gonna try to live the life of a white woman because I feel like that's who I am, and I feel like all my life I felt like I should have been white. Can I actually truly say that I am white if that's how I feel? I know we've got transgender, we've got trans people, but transracial, to me has, it gives me a question mark. Can he truly say he's Asian now that he's had the surgeries and he feels he looks like them? Can he truly say that he is Asian? I mean, is it fair for him to say? Another question: is it fair to the Asian community for him to say, he's Asian now? And he actually has been receiving a lot of death threats from members of the Asian community because of that. They feel like, no, you haven't lived in our shoes. You don't know our culture. You just waking up saying that you're Asian now. You can't do that. So he's receiving death threats behind, saying that he's now Asian.
Let me direct your attention to Rachel Ann Dolezal.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
We just gonna claim. Listen, let me tell you something. She was gonna claim she was black until somebody grabbed a noose and wanted to lynch her. Then she was gonna say, "Wait, hold up! I was just playing."
Just kidding.
Right. So your race, the race that you're born into, is not just about the color of your skin, it's cultural as well. It has to do with culture as well. Absolutely. So I can tell you that Rachel Ann Dolezal, and I'm saying Rachel Ann on purpose, all right? When she went and curled up her hair, crinkled up her hair, and got her some brown on makeup and all of this whatnot and carrying on, I don't even remember what her point was. Like, I don't know if she was trying to get into HBCU. I don't know what, I can't remember, right? I don't remember what it was. I just want to take you to this point. Historically, there are so many African-American people who have Native American blood, but the government would not allow them to identify as such, so that they would not be allowed. And my cousin Audrey is on here. She's a history buff, right? Would not be allowed to receive benefits from being having Native American blood, which is in a lot of instances educational, paying for education and things like that. So they were denied that. However, there was, if I'm not mistaken, something called the $5 Indian or the $5 Native American, where white people were going and getting papers to say that they were Native American, and they were not. You can look this up. It's history. So, and I'm going to try to pull it up while you ladies are talking. But what I'm saying to you is, okay, you got people that are transgender. They want to change their gender. They feel like they were born, they feel one way inside and they want to change their gender. That's your money. That's your surgery. You want to do what you want to do. You're at that point, you're transgender. You've changed it. Transracial, that's cultural. A lot of it is cultural. It's not just the color of your skin.
Right.
Talisa, what do you say to this?
So It's interesting, the theme that we always have when it comes to having these types of discussions. And the theme that I tend to pick up is I feel a certain kind of way. Okay. My mother brought to my attention recently about what it was for me when I was a little girl. So, for those that were not part of the 60s and the 70s, I was too busy trying to be Wonder Woman. And if I put my undershirt on my head and slung it around, I felt like I had hair. Mm-hmm. And I was going to be her, and I was Almighty Isis, and I was all sorts of stuff. And she says, "You thought you were white." I said, "Stop playing." She said, "No, I'm serious. You thought you were white. We had to have a conversation with you about the fact that you were not white." And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that, you get these stories. You don't know what happened when you were younger, whatever. But the struggle that I have with these types of conversations is I feel. So feelings are very flighty. One minute I feel this, the next minute I feel this. So what's to say that this person, like you said, he felt like he was Asian, and mind you, he had all these surgeries, right? So he was not born that way. He felt like, he was. Could it be that he felt more like I can relate versus have to change myself to be? Because like Bettina said earlier, they pull out a noose or whatever, your feelings is going to change and you're going to go back to the other thing, right? So to me, this is to me, Rachel, Miss D, I'll call her, was insulting to me because I don't get to change.
Right.
This is where I am. This is what you're going to see, right? Now, to that point, in certain parts of the country, in certain parts of the world, honestly, in, I want to say it's South America, somewhere in South America, within the Hispanic community, that there are skin lightening. Right. And there are lighter Hispanic people and darker Hispanic people, right? And there was a baseball player, I cannot call his name, maybe one of our fans can, or guests can remind me, but he was lightening his skin. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I cannot think of his name. I see his face.
Yeah, I see him. I'm gonna look at that.
So again, we're back to feelings, right? The point that I bring to the table is what happens when you feel a different way, right? I don't feel like this anymore. Now I want to be this. And most times when I ask people that question, they struggle with it because it's true. Feelings are flighty.
Right.
Right. I would rather you say I relate really, really well.
Exactly.
To this community. Right. I want to be. I had a friend in high school who wanted to be Black. And she wanted to be Black so she could say the N-word in the rap song.
Right.
And I was like, don't do it. And she had a white girl name too. I said, don't do it. Right. And she was like, no. But Talia, and we nicknamed her Pookie. So she could feel like, she was part. But if you relate really well, that's different than saying, this is what I am.
Sammy Sosa is who you were referring to.
Sammy Sosa. Thank you.
Yeah, he's unrecognizable right about now.
Yes.
Right. And so you can relate and you can even assimilate. Okay. See how I did that? Bars, by the way.
Go ahead, girl.
But I did look it up, the $5 Indian. And so it says it may be fashionable to play Indian now, but it was also trendy 125 years ago when people paid $5 a piece for falsified documents declaring them native on the Dawes rolls. Okay. These so-called $5 Indians paid government agents under the table in order to reap the benefits that came with having Indian blood. Okay. So I wanted to say that because the people that were doing this were not Black people. Okay. Because we didn't even have $5. All right. So you just need to be clear that to go further to further take from the Native Americans, aside from Christopher Columbus discovering their house and their land, because I don't know how you discover. That's like I come over your house and discover your house and say, I found a house with furniture and everything. and food in the refrigerator. And now I move in. So I don't know how you discover somebody else's land, right? And then say, well, guess what? We discovered it. Now we're gonna take all your stuff, but we're gonna give you a section of your whole land. We're gonna give you a section of it. And now I'm gonna further insult you and further offend you and further disrespect you by paying $5 to say that I am a part of one of your tribes in order to take more land from you. And now I have a paper saying so.
Absolutely.
It's just so sad. And, in this, I also think about Michael Jackson.
Oh.
Because, he changed, but he never declared he was white, right? He didn't. He never said he was white, right? Mm-hmm. He never once said, he felt
he had vitiligo and his skin was changing. So he went on, so he was trying to not be splotchy and spotty.
Right. But, he changed his skin color. He had the straight hair and whatnot, but he never wanted.
He had the permanent lips
and the eyeliner. And the eyes and the cheeks and the face and the body and the whole, he had all of that. But he never once said that he was white. Girl gets me excited. He never once said that he was a white man.
Right. So to that point, Vanessa, let's use Miss D as the example here.
Miss D.
Miss D, I'm gonna just call her Miss D. We're respectful. I'm just gonna be respectful. So what do you think? Because the type of work that she was doing, she was working in the NAACP. She was doing a lot of things within organizations to be able to help the Black community, to kind of whatever. So for someone who was doing this type of work, what do you think her goal was in making the maturation to, right? Because prior to, maybe she didn't feel accepted. And maybe if I do this, that will help me to feel accepted. Even with the gentleman that you mentioned, as far as having, because he's not the first to have surgeries to try to mimic celebrities.
Absolutely
there are many people who have tried to do that. But what I'm after here is, what's the goal? What are they trying to get? There are people that go to the hair salon, make my hair like Beyonce's. Right. They're not necessarily trying to be Beyonce, but they want to kind of look like her. Right. So for her to do the work she was doing, to go as far as she went, what do you think was her underlying goal? What's the goal of people trying to do this?
In my opinion, I think she truly did want to, I think she enjoyed the work she was doing. I think she truly did love our culture. I really think she loved our culture. I think she could identify with it in certain ways. I think it made her, she was embracing our culture. She just did it in the wrong way. I think if she had remained who she was, continued to work, I think she would have been more than accepted as a white female in that community, in the NAACP. I don't think they would have turned her away.
She was heading the NAACP in her area. She was the head of it. So she was already indoctrinated, I guess, so to speak, or accepted by the community. So she was already there. So do you think she was trying to go further?
I don't think she had a need to even fake the funk, so to speak. I think if she had just approached them in all of her whiteness, so to speak, if she just approached them as a white woman, I don't think they would have turned her down. I don't think they would have been that shallow to say, just because you're white, you can't help us. Because when you go back to the 60s and the struggle, there were white people there in the struggle with them as well. There were some white people. So I think she loved our culture. She adored our culture, and she just went about embracing it the wrong way.
Okay, so would it be safe to say, before we get Bettina's input on it, would it be safe to say, to the point that Mark, who had mentioned earlier, there was a low self-esteem. So could she have been to the point that I like yours so much and I don't like mine. So because I don't like mine, I don't want to be this anymore. I want to be this. I want to be cool. I want to be able to do, and I used to hear this when I was a kid in school, girls that they admired my hair, but they didn't. They liked the thickness of it, because it wasn't thin and would flare in the air. Could she have so wanted that so much that that's why she went towards doing that? What do you think?
I mean, and that's true too. She could have, like I said, I think she really admired the culture, but she
Okay.
went about it the wrong way in embracing it. There's a way to embrace it without, changing your skin color or your hair. I mean, there's a way to embrace things without changing who you are. If she had approached them, who knows where she would have been, even if she approached them in her natural state. Who knows? She's where she is even today because of the choice she made. If she had approached them as who she is, I want to help. What can I do? What can I do to help? I want to help. I'm down with the cause, whatever. Here I am, use me. Who knows where she could have ended up? And I think she went about it the wrong way. Yes, it could be some low self-esteem for her to take it to the next level to say, hey, I don't want to be white anymore. I want to be Black. I want to identify as Black. Yeah, it could be something, because why wouldn't you like who you are? To me, I mean, it's some problems. Well, that's a different story, different show rather. But to me, and then the argument to that is, what does changing who I am or my race or my gender or whatever has to do with me not liking who I am? I mean,
Absolutely. It's
an
both
argument.
sides. But to that point, Mark was correct. So Miss Bettina, what is your thoughts about it?
So I have a boatload of them, and I'm only going to give you half of the boat. I'll tell you this. I feel that low self-esteem comment has something to do with it. I feel that I do believe, I don't know the lady. I never met her, and may never. However, I believe she was coming from the right place. I think she did it the wrong way.
What about it?
There have been hundreds upon thousands upon people of different races, not just Caucasian persuasion. There have been that have marched for the cause and marched for other people's rights for other causes. Like now it's been a thing about Asian hating and that kind of stuff like that. And there are people out there that are not Asian that are marching to say this is wrong. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go through all of these shenanigans, okay, if you will. I'm going to use that word loosely, shenanigans, to be a part of the helping class, if you will. And here's what I'll say, all the way back since before, like, think about the Underground Railroad, think about the people, all of the white people who were part of that, who were part of hiding people in their basement or in their attic, the slaves, to help them go. So there have always been empathizers, sympathizers, and people who could say, I respect what you're trying to do and I will help you. They didn't have to turn Black or pretend to be Black in order to help, because we historically, as Black people, we have been known to let a little bit of everybody in. And when I say a little bit of everybody,
it's true.
You know how sometimes there's a biracial relationship and the lighter side will say, we are disowning you and your children, okay, and never want to meet the children until somebody gets cancer and gets ready to die. I want to meet my grandkids, that kind of thing. And then Black people, you can bring them in tall, short, skinny, heavy, whatever. She gonna come to the cookout or he gonna come to the cookout. And we gonna get to the side. Let's just tell the truth. We gonna get to the side and be like, with each other. But they gonna get their plate of collard greens and carrying on and everything too, and nobody's gonna be mad.
Right.
We're not disowning anyone. We historically take in just about everybody.
Absolutely. We are very warm with that. Yes, you're right.
And we come and it comes from a place, to some, your upbringing about loving people just for who they are, not about the color of their skin. And that was for us growing up. We grew up in a neighborhood with everybody. We had Asian people, white, Black, gay, straight. We had everybody. And we had friends that were a little bit of everything.
Right.
And so my thing is I don't have a problem with somebody that wants to marry interracially. All right. Just be yourself and happen to love that person in that race. Don't go in and come in, home girl, what's up? Hey girl, what's up, sister girl? Don't come in insulting me, okay? Because I don't even talk like that. So don't come in insulting me. Come in and be yourself and just happen to love who you love.
Right. And if you look at it, Bettina, what I'm hearing you say underneath that is acceptance.
Right.
That's what's happening with people. They're struggling with acceptance. Mark was saying just a second ago, that There were a lot of people in the community, and some people, because they grew up in it, because it's always that person. That person is such and such down the street who acts like, and act more black and sound more black. And that's fine if you want to, but at the same time, accepting who you are, I think, is where the problem is. And since I don't want to accept it, I want to be something else because I don't accept that. You were going to say, Bettina?
Right. So I get to call myself transracial. Listen, let me tell you something. I did comedy with a guy whose nickname was Romo. We used to call him White Chocolate. That was his comedy name. Yeah. Romo White Chocolate. I did comedy with this guy. And when you hear his story, his real story, when he gets on stage, he certainly sounds more black, if their black has a sound,
right?
So he certainly sounds more black than me, okay? And he gets up there and he talks about eating chitlins. He was in foster care with a black family, okay? Mm-hmm. And his white family was across the other side of the tracks. He ended up in foster care. And briefly, his story is amazing. And people are like, oh, he's trying to be black. I'm like, no, he eats chitlins and collard greens and pig feet because his foster mother from when he was little. And he said he used to have to fight his actual siblings because when they saw him in school, they called him something similar to an N-word or N-word lover or something like that. But he ended up in foster care there. That was what he knew. And to what Mark was saying, yeah, we had a lot of people that grew up in our neighborhood that's all they played with. They were with black people. They were in our cookouts. They hung out with us. So the bottom line to it is everybody that you see that has assimilated or maturated or whichever way you want to say it, some people that's just what they know. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily them trying to offend or be offensive. It's what they know. And we have to learn. And instead of pulling up a Bible scripture, I'm gonna say this before we go, because sometimes we run late. I want to say this. God in the Bible, God is nothing but love. L-O-V-E. It's 4 letters. It's a very hard word for people to actually spread across the broad spectrum, right? So if you treat me with dignity and respect, it doesn't matter to me what color you are, how tall you are, short, how heavy you are. If you love me, and it's not a matter of saying, well, I have white friends. It's not a matter of saying that. It's a matter of there are white people who don't like certain black people because of who they are as a person. It doesn't mean they don't like all black people. There are a whole bunch of black people that don't like any white people. Okay. And they're basing it off of 1 or 2 people when there's a whole bunch of people out here that are out for our good, for just the good of people in general. I'm not saying our good as far as black people. So if you take the biblical sense of this and you just take those 4 letters, L-O-V-E, and you just love people the way God loves us. It doesn't matter if you don't love me that way. I'm going to choose to do right even when nobody is looking. And that's integrity, doing the right thing when nobody is looking. And even if I got a thing now that is WPS, BPS, LPS, white people shenanigans, black people shenanigans. Culturally, we have our own shenanigans. That's coming up real soon, and it's going to be videos. We have our own shenanigans, and sometimes we bleed from other people's shenanigans. That's just like people going and getting big booties. We got black people, that's us. We got big booties. But white people shenanigans, they going to go and try to get some big booties. Let your booty lay low. Just don't worry about it.
Don't let it lay low.
Lay low. Just be who you're going to be.
Some people can't help but let their booties lay low, Bettina.
No, we don't want it low. They want it to sit high, but I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Is
love, first of all, love yourself. For me, it's love God. Love yourself. You don't have to change who you are. Tiger Woods decided he was Cablinasian. Instead of him being of mixed race, he wanted to say, I'm colored, I'm all kinds of stuff. I'm colored or Korean, black, whatever. Cablinasian. Sir, we just making up our own race. Well, then I'm Almanese. I'm a part of the Almanese nation because I'm of almond color. Okay, so I'm now Almanese.
Almond.
Almanese.
But you know what? The takeaway from that is, and I'm gonna say this as we get ready to close, is the point of accepting yourself and loving yourself. What I hear you saying, Bettina, is God loved you and made you to be this, and will love you from here on out. Sometimes it takes a minute for us to catch on to that and love ourselves.
And how's God gonna recognize that guy when he get up to heaven? He ain't
gonna come the way he came with them surgeries. He gonna come the way he came. But I tell you one thing, he needs to love himself and accept who he is, how he is. We will love you regardless, just again having to accept yourself and go from there.
And
Vanessa, you want to say this as we go out?
With all of us, we all need to love ourselves. As you notice, everything that's going on nowadays, it's because there's a lack of love somewhere, somehow. All the stuff you see on TV, all the stuff in the news is love. Loving yourself, loving other people, having respect for others. You know, we can respect you, but I don't have to be you. I can respect Bettina and Talisa, but I don't have to change myself to be who you are. So like you said, love and respect who you are as well as others.
Amen. And that's going to take us out of here. So I love both of y'all, and we love all the people who check into the Say What podcast.
And we will be back in 2 weeks.
And we will see you back in 2 weeks. So you guys make sure you have a wonderful Saturday, and we'll see you when we see you. Take care.
Get ready for Sonia, Talisa, Vanessa, Bettina. Come on. Say what? Come on. Say what? We got hot topics. We got what the